Welcome to Talkin' Waukesha, the podcast where every conversation springs to life.
I'm Andrew Nofke.
And I'm Anthony Terrell.
And we're your hosts for today's journey into the heart of Waukesha.
Whether you're a local or just passing through, join us as we explore the stories, people, and hidden gems that make Waukesha truly special.
From community events to personal anecdotes, we're here to bring you the pulse of our vibrant town.
So grab your favorite beverage, sit back, and let's dive into another episode of Talkin' Waukesha,
where every conversation springs to life. All right, welcome back to another episode of Talkin' Waukesha. Today we're here with Chris Janet, the president of the WDBA and Farmers Market Coordinator, and Tami Evanoff, the WDBA Secretary and the Friday Night Live Coordinator. Welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And for those who don't know, the WDBA is the Waukesha Downtown Business Association. Got to catch myself before I rattle that off too many times. It's like,
right.
What are we talking about? So to start off, can you guys tell us a little about yourselves, the Waukesha Downtown Business Association, and your roles in the WDBA?
Once again, I'm Chris Janet. I'm president and one of the co-directors for the Farmers Market. Basically, the Waukesha Downtown Business Association is a group of businesses in the downtown area, sort of like a chamber of commerce. And our job and function is to put on events and work on things that we can do to improve the downtown from a private business standpoint, to try to bring people and attract them to downtown Waukesha to experience our lovely downtown and historic and all the community, and hopefully get them to spend some money in our businesses down here. And,
It's, while you're down here having fun, you might as well. But
exactly support the businesses and the economic growth, and obviously all the things that go along with that.
Okay, I am Tami Evanoff. I am the WDBA Secretary and the Friday Night Live Coordinator. And as Chris said, we work really hard to bring people downtown, walking around, enjoying the restaurants, the shops, the bars, everything that downtown has to offer.
Yeah, I mean, just to the two events that you help manage, I mean, that's huge for bringing people in. I mean, especially last weekend with such gorgeous weather, bringing in people for Friday Night Live and the Farmers Market. I mean, I imagine those were just packed to the brim. I couldn't make it to either, but
Attendance was strong.
That's great.
Well, the best part too is even when the weather isn't strong, like there's still tons of people down there. So even Friday, it wasn't the hottest day, it wasn't the sunniest day, but it was still packed.
It was packed, and it was nice because it wasn't so hot that you were miserable and your feet hurt because it's so hot. So having those overcast days where it's a little bit cooler, those are nice.
Yeah, it'll be nice in 2-3 weeks once summer fully hits, and
we'll want those days back.
Right. And we've got some very dedicated patrons that seem to come out rain or shine to a lot of things.
Which is fantastic. I mean, you get those dedicated people that are going to bring friends, and their friends will bring friends, and it just kind of
word of mouth is a wonderful thing. Yes,
bloom was the right word I was looking for. I was going to say booms, but no, don't want to use that word. Blooms, yes.
So how did the two of you get involved in the WDBA, and kind of what drew you to it?
So I opened my business in the fall of 2016, and the following year we had heard about the farmers market, and I was interested in getting involved for my business to get out there and brand myself in the community and be a way to make people aware and drive hopefully some future business my way. So at that point learned that it was coordinated by the Waukesha Downtown Business Association. So I became a member of that and started attending the meetings and just got involved in, I don't know how long it was, but in fairly short order, it seemed like I was a vice president and then eventually graduated into the president's role a couple of years ago.
I would say that I joined the WDBA in 2018 as just a shop manager. At that time, I did not own Burlap and Lace. Started going to the meetings, and just like Chris said, in real quick time, became the secretary. I would say that happened in 2020 when I actually bought Burlap and Lace. Then I was the business owner. And started out as the secretary. And pretty quickly after that, I began helping Susie Taylor with Friday Night Live. So I was kind of her, I don't know, I guess you'd say grunt person. Here, run this, do this, run this, do this.
I think protege is a nicer way to put it.
Okay, protege. Okay, yes. And then as the years went on, I took over more and more. And then 2 years ago, last year, we kind of flipped, and she was my protege, I guess you could say. And I started doing most of the work. And then this year it's me.
It's just you, yeah.
It's me.
At times I feel like the old cartoons where like you ask for volunteers and everyone steps back and you're the left, like, oh, I'm still standing in front here. So
I didn't realize I'm supposed to step back with everyone.
Right.
Oops. Here I am.
So what makes our downtown area more unique and distinct from others in the area? I mean, obviously a lot of them have very similar charms to it, but what makes ours stand out?
I think the size first and foremost. I mean, obviously it's a smaller downtown. It's not a major metropolitan, but compared to the other towns around the area, it's a pretty substantial downtown. Obviously, super historic, and we've got a very interesting vibe with the community, with the artist element, the river. It is a unique downtown from a lot of different standpoints. I mean, anytime I get neighbors or other acquaintances down here, they're like, wow, this is really an incredible downtown. And like, we don't live far away, but we've never gone to visit it. So, I mean, that's our challenge as our association is to how do we draw more people to it? Because once they come down here, they're like, wow, you guys really have a lot of great stores and a lot of great stuff going on. And we had no idea. And it's close and it's easy and convenient. So, it's like a little hidden gem that we just need to keep getting the word out on. So anything you'd like to add, Tami?
I would have to say my first thought to that question was probably the river. But listening to Chris, I can tell you on a daily basis, being the business owner of a business that's very busy all week long, the amount of people that say to me, I never knew this was here. Oh my gosh, downtown has grown. It's so cute now, and it's fun, and there's so much to do.
No more one-way streets.
Yes.
That one I heard a ton.
But just the amount of people that say, I never realized how much there was in downtown Waukesha.
Yeah, I think Waukesha is unique in the fact that it's a great combination of shopping and food and cultural events. I mean, be it art or music. Plus, you have the nature aspect of the river right there. I mean, it is a very nice little eclectic community. And like you said, when people come in and they're like, "Oh, I've never, it didn't exist this here." I think people need to go into the businesses just a touch more. It's like you don't have to buy anything necessarily. It's nice if you do, obviously, but taking a step inside the door to figure out what's actually in there. I mean, the facades are beautiful; they're historic, but when you get inside and you see the difference, like day and night between, like, oh, it's not just a nice historic facade, it's a modernized, there's some that are modernized, some that have embraced the historic and look to it, and it's just a nice eclectic community.
Having the library, having all the parks, having the bus station, so that way people can get down here from all areas, not just a stop along the way of some of these other downtowns.
You get one stop, you can go a mile that way or that way, and that's about it.
Right.
Yeah, and the beauty too is like even if nothing is happening in downtown, there's always something happening just right next to it, right on the outside too. So usually, like if we've got anything like at the Cutler Park, that's all right, cool, a big event, nice event happened there. We need somewhere to go eat. Downtown, it's right there. And there's tons of things to eat and tons of places to visit.
Definitely, and summertime in downtown Waukesha, you have Tribute Tuesday, you have what's the movie night is tonight.
Yeah.
I
think there's like maybe
river rhythms.
Live jazz in Cutler Park.
Civic band concerts.
Yeah, so
there's something on Saturdays. I'm thinking there's this farmers market on
Farmers
Saturdays.
market.
Art crawls.
Do we have something on Sundays?
No,
nothing specifically on Sundays.
Sundays are pretty
Downtown
quiet.
also gets a day of rest.
We need a day of rest.
That's for fall. Then you got Packer season and stuff like that.
Right.
Definitely.
So the WDBA oversees many events in Waukesha. Can you talk a bit about them and what someone who has never gone to these events can expect? And we're hinting at these now, but can you kind of explain them a little bit more?
Sure thing. Farmers Market obviously is the one I'm most involved in, being one of the co-directors. So we every Saturday morning, 8 to noon, rain or shine, we've got typically 100 to 120 unique vendors at our farmers market, which makes it one of the largest in Wisconsin. Attendance, we haven't done a pure attendance click check in a couple of years, but the last one we did, I think we had around 7,000 people out. So depending on weather and different things, I would say we'd probably draw about 5,000 to 10,000 people down here every Saturday for the farmers market. Wow. Also, once again, another hidden gem of people that like farmers markets. People don't understand the size of ours and the variety of vendors that we offer on a weekly basis. I mean, it really is an event here Saturday mornings with all the food vendors where people come down, grab food, shop, then go back into downtown and eat more and do some more shopping. So that's been a great event. It's grown considerably in the last couple of years. I think we're nearing 200 unique vendors for this season with different applications. Obviously, some only might come out once or twice a year, but last year, I think at the end of the year, we ended at around like 165. So it's to just be barely into June and we've almost got 200 already. It's going really well. And then I won't touch Friday Night Live. That's Tammy's baby, but we do a lot of other events as well. So like we do the trick or treat for Halloween downtown, and we do the bunny hop, which is basically like the Easter trick or treat downtown. Our newest iteration is Jolly Days, which is really more of a collection of different holiday events that are going on, starting with Small Business Saturday and then basically going through the holidays. Just trying to highlight all the different things once again that are going downtown on a weekly basis, or whatever day it's going on. We do the carriage rides as part of Jolly Days.
Santa, the reindeer.
Santa's down here. We've got reindeer down here for a day.
Tree lighting,
the Walk of Lights or Night of Lights. So yeah, I'm trying to think like some of the other events that we do. We do the ice carving competition as part of Jamboree. So we partner up obviously with the city a lot and Parks and Rec and all the other different departments to try to have a hand to help coordinate things. And we're working on some more things behind the scenes for those who've been following some of the stuff going on with O&L. With potentially getting some changes to allow some new things down here. So
I have seen that.
yeah, it's been a popular topic. It's been a popular topic for years. So
is it being talked about at council this week?
It might be.
Or is that
It
2
might
weeks?
be.
Yeah.
I think it might be talked. I think it's tonight, right?
Tomorrow.
Yeah. So yeah.
Not to put a timestamp, but the June 17th council.
Right.
I think it's on that one. I think I remember seeing that.
Yeah. So, and there's probably some things I'm not thinking of, but I mean, like I said, we're always focused on trying to come up with different things we can do to bring people downtown. Because if they come down here, whether they're doing anything or shopping or eating at that point in time, but if not, if they get to see other things, like, wow, like great, I want to come back here, when I've got some more time in a couple of weeks, and then maybe they're, spending some money and helping contribute to our small businesses, which having full storefronts is always really a nice thing.
Yes.
Yeah, definitely. And just to expand on that a little bit, during a lot of these big events, people will come into my place and, I don't want to carry that around. So, either we will hold that for them or historically the next day we're pretty busy with those people that were there during that event and, I saw this and I got to grab it. So, just getting the people down here to see all the different things.
Right.
They may see People's Park during Friday Night Live and it's really busy. I don't want to wait in that line tonight, but I'm going to come back tomorrow or the next day or whatever and visit and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I always encourage people, if you ever see a long line anywhere, it's a good sign for one.
Yes.
But also, if you pick any other night of the week, if there's not an event going on, you'll get in there nice and quick and you get to experience the same caliber of cuisine, but with half the weight.
Right. And
Definitely.
I'll let you talk about Friday Night Live, Tammy.
Friday Night Live. So like I said, I really took over everything this year. And I'm trying to do some things a little bit different, not not different, but adding some new things.
Enhancements.
A twist, yeah.
You guys have all the words. All the enhancements. Okay, so like this year, for instance, we have a DJ. That is the first time that there's ever been a DJ at Friday Night Live. And the business, Idyllic Bubble Tea, is hosting that stage.
Very nice.
And she has different themes for every week. So coming up, there's going to be a neon 80s night.
Oh, very fun.
Okay.
Yes, so that'll be cool. We have, she's got in July, Christmas in July. So that brings me to some of the little events inside of Friday Night Live that I've been working on. So we'll have 3 kids' nights this year. So, you know, you come downtown and you see all these bands and there's not a whole lot for the kids to do.
Right.
So the first one is in 2 weeks here, in June 27th.
2 weeks. Okay, yeah, two Fridays from
Yep,
today.
2 Fridays, yep. And we will have things like we're going to have a tie-dye tent, and kids can make bracelets. We've got the Tosa Block Party. So what that is this gentleman brings his Legos, and so there's tables set up, there's tarps on the ground, and there's just Legos, and kids can play with the Legos.
Very neat.
That's cool.
He'll have a table for some of the older kids, I guess, with iPads so they can work on some projects, that kind of stuff. So we have him coming in, face painters, balloon twisters. So just trying to give the kids something to do when they come down.
A little more block party style, I suppose, that way.
Exactly. So then the Kids Week, or the Kids Friday, is July 25th. And like I said, Selena, her DJ will play Christmas music, that kind of stuff. We have Santa coming down.
Oh, very fun.
Ooh.
Again, the block party will be here. So that one will be a little bit more Christmassy.
Yeah.
Christmas in July.
Christmas in July. Yeah.
And then the third one is going to be August 8th. And I'm going to be honest, I have no plans for that one yet. So if anybody does face painting, that's the one thing that I'm really looking for, because I've got one gal who does it out in front of Burlap and Lace, and she has for a couple of years. But one person just isn't enough. She always has a line that's way too long. So so those are some of the fun things. A lot more businesses getting involved, wanting to put their stuff out front. So Alo Chocolate has a nice setup out in front of their store where they sell all their good, yummy, those nuts smell so good.
Like you say,
when I'm
that's a
walking by.
fantastic. Everything there is fantastic.
Exactly, right? So just a few more businesses really getting involved and wanting to have their things out front so people can see.
Yeah, I think I've seen a couple businesses now where it's like, oh yeah, this is all our stuff that we set out for Friday Night Live, and really helping that, you know, we've got a couple things to kind of tease you on the sidewalks, and let's bring you in the doors. And,
Right. So Steaming Cup always does their kids corner, so they have the big games out there for the kids to play.
Yeah.
So just I'm just trying to grow it. I don't want to change it terribly because it's Friday Night Live.
Right.
And Friday Night Live is about the stages and the bands and all of that kind of stuff. But just make it a little more family friendly.
Yeah, I think these are, from what you're describing, it all sounds like really fun, ways to give more people out what they can do. Because obviously, they're there as, couples, they enjoy the music, bring your family out and have everyone make sure it's an experience for everyone.
Yeah, keeping everything fresh. So even if you do go year after year, it still feels like there's something new to experience every time.
Right.
That's the key.
Yeah.
While the bands might change, but it's
It-
you need to have a new atmosphere almost without it changing.
Exactly, yeah. And I'm concentrating on the kids stuff this year, and then next year will be, okay, what can we do now? And I think that, I mentioned the DJ, and with her having different themes every week, I I think that's a really cool idea. So, okay, neon 80s night. Come on, guys, get your hair up in that crazy ponytail and your neon.
It'd be fun if you could get the bands involved too. If it's like,
Right.
if you've got something in your set list that'll fit this theme,
Right.
sign up for those nights. And
Exactly.
It reminds me of kind of similar, but like the Renaissance Fair. Like every week, it's like one weekend it is pirate themed. The next weekend it is like fairy themed or stuff like that. And you could definitely do something like that with with Friday Night Live, where it is a neon themed one weekend, or it is a rocker night another weekend.
Right.
Just get everyone involved.
if there was a pirate band that came for one of the stages, that'd be fantastic.
Is there such a thing?
Yeah.
I'm sure there is.
Sea shanties.
Yeah, so sea shanties, drinking songs, things like that. And
okay.
so it's usually what are those called? Squeeze boxes like that, and a guitar. It's usually a duo or trio. Usually, but yeah,
All right.
That'd be
Good
a
to
lot of
know.
fun for trick or treat.
Good to
yeah,
know.
that could be a lot of fun as well.
There you go.
So as you mentioned, Friday Night Live and the Farmers Market are kind of the two of the biggest events that the WDBA hosts. Can you talk about how you go about planning such large scale events and kind of what goes into it? How early do you have to start for each year? Things like that. It's a big ask, obviously. I mean, these are huge events. So
Yeah,
are you planning for next year already? Or are you
Give a
still
step by step everything that you do.
So
Okay, well, do we have 6 hours?
I think the last we had some leadership turnover at the market 2+ years ago. With doing that, we've basically kind of been reconstructing and building everything anew of what we need to do. I'll let Tami once again talk about Friday Night Live. So that's also a work in progress with just trying to figure out when and everything. But farmers market, like we are literally taking notes week to week on stuff already for next year. We ends end of October. We usually meet mid to late November, recapping the season and then talking about stuff for next year. We have a couple of meetings throughout those winter months, just once again getting into planning. What do we need to do as far as our team looks like? Do we need to add to it? Do we need more roles? And what are we looking at adding to the market for this upcoming season? In earnest, planning really probably kicks off, I must say it was probably early February. We send paperwork out and notify all the vendors. And then once all the paperwork starts rolling in, that becomes a massive workload for our coordinator. But yeah, I mean, it's really like a full-time, like there really isn't an off time. It's market's going and then we're immediately, okay, let's recap. And what are we doing for next year? And what are we doing differently? And what do we need to adjust based on what we just experienced this past season?
I imagine with your abundance of vendors that you've got coming in, you really don't have too many empty spaces. And there's a lot of people who are like, yeah, I want to come back next year.
Yeah. I mean, that was really our last off season was when we get a daily vendor that comes in, because just like when people experience our market for the first time, a lot of our vendors, when they experience it for the first time and they've been to other markets, they're like, wow, this is a much different level farmers market. There's way more people coming to visit and shop, and there's way more vendors. And a lot of our daily vendors want to then become full season vendors. And it's like, okay, well, we're limited in our spots available. So what do we do? So this last season, we actually opened a new area of the market that was a front parking lot. So we kept the other one for accessible parking, but the other one we've now slotted to allow more vendors to come in, which is how we're able to accommodate a few more. If it keeps on wanting to grow and we keep needing and more vendors keep wanting to be part of it, we'll have some more interesting conversations about what to do.
Farmer market.
And there's only so much you can do with it. But in the footprint that we're in, and we really appreciate our partners at Waukesha State Bank, because it's their lot that they let us use as a community partner, and it's been wonderful to do everything over there. And so it is something.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good location too, because there's decent enough parking nearby.
Right.
And it's a nice gateway into downtown as well. So even once you've gone through the 200 vendors and purchased your wares and gone them, you still have the opportunity to go back to your car and then go through downtown.
Right. And we added one of this year's enhancements. We added a pickup station. So if you do over purchase, like it's been great early in the season, and this is exactly what we envision, like with people buying all the flowers and baskets of flowers, you don't want to walk through the market with that stuff. So we've got a tent that helps man the accessible lot so people aren't abusing that and there when they shouldn't be. And people bring all of their goodies over there, or they can even rent a cart from us so they can carry their stuff through the market.
Very nice. Yeah.
And if they've, and once again, if their kids are tired of walking or they've just overbought, and that way they can drop it all off, go to their car, come back, pull in. We've got 2 reserved spots so they can pull in, load up all their goodies, and then leave, and not really impacting any of the other dynamics of the market.
That's great. It's a fantastic feature.
Yeah, it's been very popular.
Yeah.
So, we figured early season, then late season with pumpkins and mums. Once again, the larger, heavy items.
What about Friday Night Live?
Friday Night Live, I have a little bit more free time than Chris does. Friday Night Live ends in August, so which for me works out well because then that starts my business's busy time.
Right, you step right into the holiday season and early holiday.
Exactly, and it gets a little crazy at Burlap and Lace sometimes. But I start out in late January securing the stages. So who's going to have a stage? And luckily, for the most part, it's the same people. We've had, last year we added 2 new stages at Divino Gelato and Vinyl Vault. And they both came back this year. And then this year we added the DJ at Idyllic. So secure the stages, and then from that point on, it is getting all the paperwork. So I literally have a 3-inch binder that I work out of, all of the paperwork for each stage, so their insurance and all of the stuff that I need for them. And then late March, early April, I have to present that binder to the city. Which they get an identical one to mine. So theirs is about 3 inches as well. And we go over that just to make sure that all the paperwork is there for all of the businesses and everything. And then the closing the streets and all of that kind of stuff. So while I start at about the same time as Chris, mine's not as intensive. My biggest thing is just gathering the paperwork.
Right.
But and then just all the ideas floating around in my head, and how do I make these come to life?
Right.
And this year I recruited a small team of people that are helping me. So I have somebody that's in charge of the craft night, and those kinds of things. So
Building up that committee.
Yeah.
building up that committee.
So is it up to the stages to then book the talent then for those stages? Okay.
Correct. Yep. I
would say, imagine that would have been daunting if it's like, I have to find 80 bands.
Oh yeah, no. That would definitely take another person.
Yeah, 100%.
That would take a person that could just focus on that.
All right.
Yeah, definitely.
That maybe becomes year-round planning then.
Yeah, I can say that's in the back of my mind. That's when I'm like, okay, you're finding all the talent and everything. And
No.
So for these theme nights, are these listed on your social media accounts or anything like that? That of how would the public best learn how to?
We have not announced them yet.
Okay.
Okay, so what we'll typically do is announce them that week. So
Okay, perfect.
so maybe on Monday we would put a post out and say, okay, it's Christmas in July, so come down and see Santa and sing some Christmas carol and see some Christmas lights or whatever. But I don't, because it's so new and it's, there's a lot of variables.
Yeah.
It
might change.
Exactly. It's tough. And I don't want to say, ooh, I'm going to have 5 face painters and then I don't have them.
Right.
So I think that every week we will probably put something out there that says, okay, this is what we're doing this week.
And then what channels do you have that where people can? Is it Facebook, Twitter, all of them, YouTube?
So we have the Waukesha DBA website. And that covers everything that we do. So it covers the farmers market, Friday Night Live, Jolly Days, everything is in there. Facebook, so both the farmers market and Friday Night Live have Facebook pages, Instagram pages.
I don't think we've delved into Twitter or X at this point yet.
Yeah, no.
But the challenge is we're a volunteer run organization,
Right.
so we're all trying to run our
be fair,
businesses while trying
I think
to
you
do all
have
this
plenty
other
of,
stuff
you
too,
know,
so.
with Facebook that grabs a lot of your
Right. Yeah.
the active market are the Instagram and Facebook at this point.
We got really, really lucky this year. So Robin Graham sent me the name of somebody that was looking for some part-time summer work. She's home for the summer. And she has been absolutely wonderful. So I talked to her and I said, I'm looking for somebody to help me with Facebook. At that time, we did not have an Instagram for Friday Night Live because I'm going to be honest, I know nothing about Instagram. And literally within, I don't know, half hour, she had an Instagram up and running, and I just tell her, okay, I want you to concentrate on these things this week. And she has just taken it and run with it.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
It's good to have people where social media is their wheelhouse.
Yeah.
Especially in this day and age when social media is so important for
Exactly.
being noticed.
And when
And
you're
so
a
many
little
of us are
older,
intimidated.
when you're a little older and you don't know a whole lot about it, it's like, oh,
Right.
okay.
Yeah.
At least with the weekly postings, we get to keep people on the edge of their seats with anticipation of what's going on this week.
Yeah. So what would be some of the goals for Friday Night Live and the farmers market? And then what goals did the WDBA have as an organization?
Why don't you start this one, Tami?
Okay, so Friday Night Live, my goal in the upcoming years would be just to get more of the businesses in downtown Waukesha involved. So whether it is, say, the restaurants, maybe setting up small areas in front of their business where they can have fast food to go or you know, whatever that be. Some more of the shops maybe pulling out some of their wares or their goods out in front, and just really giving people more to do than just sit and watch the bands.
Right.
Something to enjoy. So just growing that's probably my biggest goal is to make it, I don't know.
Better.
Would you want more would you want more stages and more bands from some of the businesses too, or
That would not be possible.
Sure, okay. With all the
Having
sound.
10 of them, yes, with the sound, and I have to, you know, I talked about that binder. I have to do a map, and I have to draw on the map exactly which way these stages are going to be pointed, so we know.
Sure.
Are they too close to each other? Are they gonna?
Yeah, I feel like there's maybe like only an opportunity for one or two spots, and that'd be maybe adding onto the street footprint at that point.
Exactly.
Where does the cone of sound go,
Yeah.
and how do we contort that for everyone else?
Right. Yeah. So I don't think any more stages would be possible.
And if you can't find music you like within 10 stages,
That's a problem.
I don't think an 11 stage is going to necessarily help.
Right.
Right. Go to a singular event where you know exactly what they're playing at that point.
Right.
As far as farmers market, I mean, really any of our events, my main goal is to drive attendance. The more people we get down here, to me, that's our measure of success. Because once again, it's about how do we expose our downtown and how do we get people down here to participate in our downtown. So from the farmers market standpoint, you know, once again, how do we get more attendance down here? And by the expansion and getting more vendors, hopefully also then that draws a larger audience because now there's more for different people. A couple of years ago, we started introducing food trucks, and I mean, the beauty of them is they've all got their own little social media followers. So, you know, by having them come to our market, then they're getting that out to their followers. So then hopefully people are coming to their favorite food truck, and now they're exposed to the rest of our market and all of our other vendors and everything else that there is to offer. So I mean, from that standpoint, it's like, once again, expansion within our footprint that's reasonable to help bring more people down here. So, yeah, I mean, that's really, like I said, at the end of the day, it's about getting bodies and getting people to walk around our downtown and see it.
If you had, this isn't one of our written questions at all. This is something I just kind of thought of. If you had no restrictions, unlimited money, resources, whatever, is there a type of event you would want to do? Like a big brain or
Boy,
big
that's a loaded
idea.
question.
I know it
If
is
I have an
loaded.
unlimited budget, I could do all sorts of interesting stuff.
Yeah.
But maybe there's something you've seen in another community that it's like, oh, I would love to do that, but maybe we don't have the space to do it. But maybe if we did have the space, something you would want to do.
Yeah, I mean, I would be really interested to do something like Friday Night Live, but with like one or two big bands, like unlimited budget. Like let's bring in like a Summerfest act,
Sure.
in our downtown on the streets. I think would be incredible, but we don't have that kind of budget. That's where the farmers market also comes into play. Like that is our revenue generator for the WDBA by and large. So it's like that helps us pay for other marketing and pay for these other different events and pay for employees to help run these events and all that other fun stuff. So that's the other balancing act that we try to do.
Sure.
But if you know of a way to get unlimited funds, I'm all
right?
ears.
I
so-
haven't figured it out yet.
Okay, let us know.
I'm within 2 centuries of figuring it out, I think.
Okay.
My team would love to help you spend it.
So what do you wish that more people understood about working behind the scenes for the WDBA?
Ooh, I'm going to answer this question first. So I think that the number one thing that people don't understand is that the 5 of us, okay, so we've got Chris is the president, Shelley is the vice president, I'm the secretary, Rosie is the treasurer, and Sarah is our social media person. There's 5 of us. We volunteer. This is a volunteer position. Not one of us gets paid a penny. Okay, so we all do this job because it's our passion. It's our passion to bring people downtown, and I think that is the biggest thing that I want to get out there is we do the best we can, and I think we do a darn good job.
You do a phenomenal job.
At all of it. But we're volunteers and we have families and we have our own businesses and sometimes obviously those things come first.
Yeah.
But to me, when I made the decision to move to downtown Waukesha, because I live a block from Main Street, when I made that decision, I made it because Waukesha, downtown Waukesha is just, it's beautiful and it's fun and I just, I love it. So, yeah, Chris, you can add on to that.
Yeah, I mean, it's the passion for the community. I mean, I'm a State Farm agent, so by bringing people down here, I'm not retail. The crowds for Friday Night Live are not going to benefit my business, but they benefit all the other businesses and they benefit the downtown. And I want a happy and healthy, economically vibrant downtown because no one wants to go to a ghost town. So what's good for the goose is good for the gander. So anything we can do that's going to put downtown Waukesha in a good light and get more exposure, I'm all for in any capacity, which is once again why I'm involved at the level that I am and why we do all these different events. So, but yeah, I mean, as Tami said, like it is nearly a full-time job without any of the pay of a full-time job. So, I mean, it's a passion project for sure for us. Yeah, and obviously as we get more businesses involved and more business owners that want to participate in that, like, that makes all of our lives easier. Like we're moving in a good direction with the WDBA where we really haven't been for years, where we're getting many more participants to help volunteer and step forward and help with these different events. Because, people see what they are, but they also see potential of, okay, we can do more. And maybe some other future events. So you never know, but it all requires time and planning and effort and energy and that's just we can only put so much on our plates.
Right.
And then the other thing, no offense to you guys, but like this is people don't understand what our events are. Like, I don't know how many times, like Friday Night Live, oh, the city of Waukesha,
Yeah.
why aren't they doing this or why aren't they doing that? It's not like the city is our partners on these events, but they are run by our downtown business group. So, if people like or don't like certain things and they're complaining to the city on the city pages, or complaining about the city on whatever other social media, or complaining about us on city pages, like people just need to understand there is a separation. Everyone, there's different groups and different parties in charge of these events, and hopefully there aren't many issues, but
No, I mean, I think that is something that we run into many times, because we help with the Downtown Waukesha organization, and you've got the WDBA, and then there's the chamber, and then there's the city, and it's like it's a
and
lot
like
of
County Business Alliance.
There's a lot of moving pieces that
Yes.
are making things happen in Waukesha, and I mean,
even the city with Parks and Rec and City of Waukesha work different and different silos. So
and giving credit where credit is due. I mean, while I'd love to claim Friday Night Live for the city, we can't. You guys do a phenomenal job, and you bring tons of people in. I mean, we're all doing a similar mission in different organizations. Of we want to make Waukesha great to live in, great to raise a family. Open a business, support your family with your business. There's a lot of stuff that well, like you said, while Friday Night Live isn't going to bring people into State Farm. Probably. There's always that chance.
I'm not there at that time on a Friday.
Probably not bringing people in.
Right,
but,
right.
If you bring people into the community because people want to be part of that community, they may then come into your door on a business hour, during business hours on a business day.
Yeah. And they see our involvement. So, my branded shirt on, I am showing that I'm part of this community. I'm invested in this community, and people do take notice of that.
Yeah, exactly.
So what advice would you give a new business owner setting up shop in downtown?
Join us.
Join the WDBA.
Join the WDBA and get involved. The more you get involved, the more people that you meet, the more networking you can do, the more just join us. Join us.
Yeah, it's been great to get to know all these other business owners. From a starting a business standpoint, my advice would be come downtown first and experience our events and the vibe, and see just from a practicality, what's the competition for whatever it is you might be opening a store for. But then if you feel it is the right community for you, then join us, get involved. It's been great to get to know all these other business owners, get to know different officials at the city. I have conversations in other friend groups or with neighbors, and they're like, how do you know this person and this person and this person? I'm like, well, we all work together putting on these different events and stuff. So, that part is just outstanding. We've got such an amazing group of entrepreneurs down here. So it's a pleasure to work with them. So they're wonderful.
Yeah, and for new businesses coming in, if you have a question, say somebody asked me a question, I may not know the answer, but who's going to know the answer?
Exactly, yeah.
And that's going to help your business, because you're going to be able to learn who knows what and where to go and that kind of stuff.
And you're all in the same boat. If one business does really well, it's probably going to boom all the other businesses around you as well.
Right.
Yeah. It's really getting involved and getting to know everyone. The small business world, entrepreneurs, most people have no idea all the different stuff that you're involved in. And I think a whole bunch of us can say, even when you start up a business, you don't know what you don't know. So it's what do you mean I'm supposed to do that? Or I've got to display a permit, or I've got to do this. It's all this stuff, no, there aren't many classes you could just go to and here's a checklist of everything you need to do. So by developing a network and getting to know the other business owners and just having conversations, you pick up all those little bits and pieces I never knew that, or I never knew that was an option, or, oh, wow, there's a city grant available for that. Great. So it's just that whole get involved, network, get to know everyone else, and help us all help each other.
Yeah, I think, especially if you're going to be in the downtown or the downtown region, it helps to know the people who are around you. Yes, you could join the chamber, and I'm not going to say don't join the chamber as well, but it's nice to know that your neighbors are all in the same organization, and you can help support the community, help support each other, and maybe have an extra hand in directing what the next event is, or trying your hand at. Maybe, maybe you want to help run the farmers market or help run Friday Night Live, or, just be there as a hey, we need someone to do something kind of a person.
Right. Yeah, help us shape the future of downtown from our standpoint. Obviously, the city has their own goals and initiatives, but that's where the beauty of it is we all get to work together because we all do have a common purpose down here.
Yeah. And I feel like we're as the city, I think we're trying our best to make sure that we have a shared vision too of where do businesses want it to go? Where does, municipally, where do we need to go, and to encourage that growth?
Yeah, it's been a great partnership. I've got quarterly meetings with Jennifer, and it's great having that partnership. I mean, it's hard to do all the things that you need to do to have a successful downtown and a successful community, and we all have our roles to play within that. So instead of being combative, and that's never going to really help us get anywhere. So,
are you sure? I think combative kind of something.
It's a different tactic.
Yeah, it doesn't work now.
We're not going to do that.
Yeah. So it's been a really good partnership. I mean, and just once again continuing to expand on that. Okay, how do we work through this, or do we have any ideas around this, or what do you think? I mean, once again, that O&L Common Council thing has been a lot of side conversations and things coming. So, there's a team effort behind a lot of this stuff. So
yeah, you kind of touched on this, but so if a business wants to join the WDBA, how would they do that? And are there any restrictions? Do they have to be downtown, or can any organization join if they're a physical storefront, a digital storefront? E-commerce. That's the word I'm looking for.
Yeah. There are restrictions as far as a footprint for the Waukesha Downtown Business Association. We used to be, I think it was like 10 blocks or something like that off of 5 points. And then we had some question of what is a block? Is it a city block? So we recently redefined our boundaries. Unfortunately, I don't have our bylaws in front of me to know the exact.
I vaguely remember a map.
Yeah, it is not a clean rectangle, but we basically go down to College as our southern end of the border, right at Carroll's campus. And then toward the western boundaries kind of cuts up toward the hospital and then through the golf course and across the river and back on down. I'm trying to think what our western or our eastern edge is. It's basically the immediate downtown and near proximity. We all consider them still downtown businesses. Like Carroll, I consider part of downtown Waukesha. Some may not, but neither here nor there.
It's a messy area for every map, and it's the problem of carriage trails being kind of how our roads are laid out.
Right. And with the river, as unique as it is, being on an angle and then everything built up around it, it creates some fun little twists and exactly.
So I guess long story short, you have there's a map.
There is a map,
There is a map.
Your business has to physically be within the map. If you are an e-commerce business, but you live and you're a home business, then technically if you're in the footprint with your home address. And then if businesses are partners of us, like sponsors of events, then we do let them join as well. So like for instance, Raised Grain is over by 164, but they're one of our sponsors for Friday Night Live. So they typically join as a member, so that way they can be part of it. But that's pretty much it. If people are interested, they can reach out to any of our officers. Easiest thing to do is to go to our website. There's an application you can fill out right there. All of our other information is on the website. It's waukeshadba.com for those of you that don't know.
Pretty quick at answering those and getting them in as quick as we can.
Yeah, the expansion of the footprint resulted in a lot of new businesses, which is great because it's new blood, it's new ideas, it's more people that are wanting to get involved and help join the cause.
That's excellent.
So what would you say is the most rewarding thing about being a member of the WDBA?
Just watching the growth and watching everything that we do to help each other and help the downtown and the city and everything, and just being able to stand out there and look around and say, we did this. We did this. We made this happen. We make the farmers market happen every week. We make Friday Night Live happen every week. So I think that, to me, the most rewarding is just seeing this community.
Yeah, seeing the growth, hearing people. I love the stuff that when people aren't looking, like hearing people talk about it, like at a coffee shop and talking about different events. It's like, yeah, we had a large part to do with that. And, that's really cool when people take notice. I obviously on social media, like there's a lot of stuff that can go on there, but to see the positive comments, there's the whole, one person will post one positive comment for 10 negative comments and all that fun stuff. So seeing the positive feedback that's out there within the community about our events and stuff that goes on, like that's really rewarding to see. At the farmers market last year, we did surveys for the first time, and like seeing the feedback from our patrons as well as our vendors, like overwhelming positive feedback and compliments of how it's run. And like that it's great to see, because you don't get a lot of pats on the back, and it's a thankless job, unfortunately, a lot of times. So when you see stuff like that, it really is like, okay, like what we're doing really is making a big difference down here. And that helps keep the drive going, because there are days Tami and I, I'm sure, are ready to put our head through a wall.
So what's the one thing that you'd encourage every listener to do in downtown Waukesha, whether they're local or they're a first-time visitor?
Come to our events. And if you already come to our events, which we know everyone in downtown Waukesha already does, talk to your friends, talk to your coworkers, get them to come down here. Because like I said earlier, it is really a hidden gem with our downtown and the stuff that we do. And the only way to keep everything going and make everything bigger and better is to get that secret out of, we've got some really cool stuff to offer in downtown Waukesha. And it's, let's get over the parking myths of like, there's not enough parking down here. There's actually plenty of parking down here if people don't know. And the parking garage is free for the first 2 hours and can fit a lot of cars. And it's like literally a 5-minute walk to everything in the downtown. But, so yeah, tell people to come down here and tell them to stop worrying about parking. There's plenty of parking. They just got to know where to look, and there's city maps and other stuff for that. So plenty of help there.
Let's see, what would be my first thing? Because I love everything. I love every restaurant. I love every shop. But I would say not quite downtown, but I think everybody that is coming to the area should visit Grady Park, the Parade Memorial.
Yeah.
I think that would be my number one thing.
Yeah. Talking about, inviting people to downtown is when we've had booths at Friday Night Live before, the number of people that we try and get signed up for our email list and like, oh, I don't live here. I kind of love hearing that in a weird way. It's like, oh, I don't live here. It's like, great, you found this as a regional event all of a sudden.
Yeah, you're here.
We've got people from Delafield. I mean, we've gotten some like, oh yeah, we don't live here. We're visiting family in Kenosha. We heard about this. I'm like, cool. You went an hour out of your way to come to a music, a mini music festival, essentially. I mean, that's fantastic to hear, because word's getting out regionally at this point, and
Definitely.
It's nice that local events are establishing themselves as. You don't want to go to Summerfest and deal with the crowds here? Fine, come to Waukesha, and you can, may not be the A-list talent, but, it's at least high caliber talent. I don't think there's ever been a band I've heard that's like, how'd they get on the list here?
It's live music and it's free as opposed to Summerfest.
It's free. And if you think about it, well, you guys are all pretty young. So if you think about it, Summerfest was this big back in the day. I can remember the first time I went to Summerfest in, I want to say 78. It was small. It was
couple stages.
Yeah, a couple stages. It was blankets on the grass. It was, so Summerfest started somewhere.
Yeah. Can't wait to see Friday Night Live be
and
big
here
stages.
we are. Oh.
So
when
that'll
you
be
get that unlimited budget.
Three, 4 years.
Once you get me that money, I'll get right on that.
I'll keep working on it.
Okay.
All right. Is there anything else exciting or coming up that you would like listeners to know or have marked on their calendars?
That sounds like a maybe.
I think that the things that are new we can't really talk
Right.
about yet.
We don't want to put the cart before the horse.
Right. So,
But just know there are things coming.
There are some exciting things that we are working on.
We are potentially working on some new events, and it could be a variety of new events, but we once again could use more help with everything. But we're waiting to see how a couple other things play out before
Very exciting.
making any announcements.
So if people want to, where's the best people to, best spot for people to find out if they want to know, first thing first?
First thing, definitely go to our website. And follow our Facebook page. That's going to be probably the most up to date as far as when stuff is getting announced. The Freeman somehow does a really good job of reaching out anytime they get wind of anything. Also, so you can always check that out, and you might know some things. But that would be the main thing, is really just kind of keep in touch with our webpage and our Facebook account. I know we do share information with the city as well, so that way you guys can get it up on your calendar, because we know the city events calendar is also a popular thing, and obviously if we have an event, that's going to be one of the things that'll be popping up there as well.
Yeah.
For those who might not know, can you give the dates and times for the Farmers Market and Friday Night Live?
Farmers Market is every Saturday, 8 to noon, rain or shine, May through October. I don't remember the exact cutoff date in October, but whatever the last Saturday is in October and the first Saturday in May, that's been consistent every year.
Last Saturday in October this year.
Halloween, isn't it?
It's the 25th. Yeah.
Oh.
It's Halloween. Halloween's the Friday before.
Okay, so Friday Night Live is every Friday night from June 6th through August 29th. Excluding July 4th this year.
Yes.
Because July 4th is on a Friday. 6:30 to 9 o'clock is the time.
And of course, with that, I know that there's stores and restaurants and bars that, no, not so much stores. It'll stay open past that point. It's pretty late night, but bars that'll have live music afterwards as well for the
Just because Friday Night Live stops doesn't mean that downtown does.
Downtown keeps on going, and I know some of the bars have live music then indoors, so people move indoors, and some of the restaurants are open late. I know that their patios were pretty full the other night when I drove through at like 10:15. So.
And literally, we get those streets cleaned up and opened back up between 9:30 and 9:45. It's a pretty quick process. So
you can drive through at 10 o'clock and you have no idea that there was like a large event with thousands of people down here going down. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
For the 4th of July week, is there still I don't know if it's official or unofficial, indoor Friday Night Live? I think like last year or 2 years ago there was one.
I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't think so. Oh, and I wanted to add, you said rain or shine for the farmers market.
Friday Night Live is
Unfortunately,
not.
Friday Night Live is not rain or shine.
It is shine or shine.
Only shine. It can be cloudy. If I can just expand a little bit, you said, what was something that you wish people understood? Weather and Friday Night Live is really, really tough. And it's a really, really hard decision for me to make, to say, okay, we got to call this. I literally have 10 weather apps on my phone that I watch all day long if there's a threat of rain or anything like that.
And the police's radar.
And and they have their radar as well. So when I make that call that, we got to cancel Friday Night Live, it's not something I do lightly. It's not something that I do because, I want to have Friday night off. Electricity and rain just don't mix, and those bands are all outside. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean that it is a tough call with that too. It's like, is it gonna rain? Do we chance it? Do we not? And I mean, it may damper some of the people attending, but I mean, you've got all the businesses' electrical equipment outside. You've got the bands who have their personal equipment outside.
Right.
And
Some instruments just don't work if they get wet.
Yeah, and like I said, it's not a decision I take lightly, and it just, it angers me when people say, well, who does she think she is? Well,
I don't envy you on those days that you have to call.
I have to make the best decision that I can, and the weather, Mark Baden said it's going to rain, so
blame the weathermen and not the WDBA.
Right. Yeah, we all know how accurate weather forecasts are, so there's a big element of variability in those.
Yeah.
So.
Well, and what makes it really tough is the fact that, okay, we're going to get a really bad storm at 6 o'clock. And by 6:45
Or 7 o'clock, even worse, right in the middle of the event.
Right. Well, that doesn't usually happen. But
Well, yeah, they miss.
then all of a sudden at 7 o'clock, the sun's out and everybody's like, why did you cancel? Well,
Because you can't predict how long a storm's going to last, how bad it's going to be, and
Exactly.
all that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Right.
Better to be safe than sorry.
If we get the unlimited money, we'll get a giant umbrella to put
Yeah.
over downtown.
Right, a
Then
big
that can-
dome.
A
Yeah.
big dome, yeah.
Inflatable
It
dome.
worked for The Simpsons,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
like that show. What was it? Paradise? They were in the mountain. Okay.
So that'll be the next thing is when you build the downtown stages that are, completely covered.
Right.
Like your, what is it?
Can they like fold into the ground so the streets are still open?
Oh, yeah, that'll come with the unlimited money. Then.
Gotcha.
Well, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks for having us.
Listeners, be sure to make it out to downtown Waukesha. Even if it's not for an event, if you don't like people, if it's too peoply, come during the week. There's plenty of businesses open.
Absolutely.
Plenty of things to see and do.
And that's a wrap for another episode of Talkin' Waukesha. We hope you enjoyed diving into the heart of our city with us.
If you have a story to share or just want to say hello, reach out to us on social media at City of Waukesha on Facebook. We love hearing from our listeners.
Don't forget to subscribe, rate, and leave a review if you enjoyed the conversation. It really helps us spread the word.
As always, thanks for tuning in to Talkin' Waukesha, where every conversation springs to life.